This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan, with your host, Nancy Smitham, and get the latest from Alpena Community College with Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Nancy Smitham. My first guest today is Dan O'Connor, who is the superintendent of Alcona Schools. Good morning, Dan.
Morning, Nancy. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm glad this worked out in our schedule with COVID and social distancing, and you're doing 40 meetings in 30 days to talk about the upcoming millage in Alcona County, so I'm glad you were able to fit us in.
We're happy to, and that invite goes out to anyone else in Alcona County and the district that would like me to swing by and visit and talk with them about this, whether it be an individual or a small group. So. And
you know, just on a personal note, I just want to say that through my employment, I have an opportunity to go to Alcona Schools almost on a weekly basis. First of all, congratulations on the long distance teaching that you did. I mean, I think it was very successful, and I know, you know, the students got to graduate, and the other kids kept up with their studies, so when they start back in the fall, there won't be a big lapse. And secondly, I just want to say that it's a happy school. You go there and the noise and the happiness and the teachers, and they take such good care of their students. Thank you for that.
Incredibly lucky to have the staff that we have right now, and that's top to bottom, bus drivers to teachers, you know, across the board. And you know, the distance learning time was definitely a challenge, and I think considering the timeline of trying to turn around and do reinvent education in a matter of weeks, to be able to fulfill that from packets to online learning and really trying to just do our best, maybe most importantly to support students, was the #1 priority for us at that time, just to rebuild relationships and try to make sure that families were doing well. And like I said, a monumental effort, and just hats off to the staff for all the work they did to pull that off. We do have graduation coming up in July.
Yes.
We kicked that down the road a couple months just to wait and see if we'd have a little more flexibility, and it worked out. So,
yes.
So we actually spent the morning planning for that earlier this week. So.
Very good. And we want to let everyone know that this is not a new millage we're asking for.
Correct. Yeah, the 18 mills was around since Proposal A in 1994, and then that's been, you know, renewed since then. That provides about 90% of our state aid at that point, so crucial, obviously, to the programming in the district, you know, and even more so now with so much uncertainty with school funding in so many different areas.
So what is the sinking fund proposal?
Sinking fund's a little bit different. That's a facility-specific proposal. So,
okay.
So the sinking fund essentially generates about $500,000 a year through property, through taxes, and we're able to repair facilities. It is very strict, like in its uses, and the state has a number of different guidance letters for us to be able to follow, and will essentially allow us to repair aging facilities on a rolling basis each year. So, you know, we've really tried to focus in our district. We first passed it 5 years ago. This is year 5 this summer. We're just about to tackle a HVAC project, which will pair nicely with our new roofs and a couple other things, and really trying to make us energy efficient as well. So we feel confident that we're trying to make our district more energy efficient, more healthy, and really try to bring some of our technology up to the forefront.
Okay, now when this millage passes, what are some of the projects you're going to be doing?
So obviously, you know, the past 5 years we were roofing and LED lighting and HVAC. We have windows from the late 50s that are next in the docket in our high school. With the sinking fund, it actually appears on the ballot as a new sinking fund, and it's not a new sinking fund. It's a rollover from the existing one from a couple years ago, but because the state changed the definitions of a sinking fund,
okay.
We had to apply for it as a new sinking fund, but the only difference would be that we can now use security and technology with the funds.
Perfect.
So we've been looking at windows, we've been looking at entrances and making, you know, some secure entrances. We have some boilers that are aging. We weren't sure if we were going to need to sneak those in the current sinking fund. We had an assessment done by an expert, and we're able to kick it down the road to hopefully the next wave. So.
And you know, I do have to address security at your school. It's very strict. You know, you have to stand in front of the camera, and when you walk in the door, they take your picture, or they take your driver's license, and you have to walk through the school with the badge on. And you know, I like that. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's one layer we know we have, you know, control over, just to make sure that we have people who they say they are in the building, to make sure all of our students and staff are safe. You know, there's some security. Our cameras are an aging system of cameras. Our PA system doesn't reach all the classrooms. I mean, there's a lot of simple things that seem simple that should work, but when you have 3 different pieces of a building all trying to integrate together with essentially the same PA system that was installed in the the 70s, it's a difficult bridge to be able to make. So like I said, we're very thankful for the community to pass this 5 years ago. Vital to the future of the district with aging facilities, and like I said, a high school that is 3/4 or half from the late 50s. So.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question that's not on your sheet. You may not have an answer for it.
It's okay.
What's the school year going to look like next in the fall?
More guidance seems to be trickling out a bit. I know the legislature released some plans yesterday. Not very detailed, I would say at this point. They committed to some more funding. Their asks were, really for districts to focus on K-5 funding or K-5 face-to-face instruction, if possible. So, obviously, health and safety protocols. So we have a lot more details I would expect to be released, and they've really talked a lot about local control, which is positive, considering the infection.
Essential.
Yep. So infection rates all over the state are different. So trying to give some local control, but that's also intimidating for schools as well. Trying to make the decisions when we may not be epidemiologists, and trying to identify the factors that we need to move forward. We'll be ready for whatever is posed, and we've informed our families that if they elect to go 100% online, we'll be ready for that. If they want to do a blended hybrid model, we'll be ready for that. And obviously, if we can get as many students face-to-face as possible, we'll be ready for that too. So. Okay.
So now, if someone out there wants to be one of your 40 meetings in 30 days, what's the best way to reach you?
Yep, it would probably be to call the district office at 989-736-6212, or they can email me at O'Connor, OCONNORD, at alconaschools.net. And we have a number of administrators and different staff helping out to cover all the different meetings.
And you have that beautiful brochure. Hold that up for a moment.
Yep. So
it's a wonderful brochure.
Yep. Just obviously encouraging people to vote at this point. Explains our projects that we've completed in the last 5 years. And then 2 pages of projects that we are going to target. I think there's probably about 15 years of sinking fund projects listed there, so we're trying to prioritize and determine our way forward. Then we have a 1-pager on the 18 mills, which is the one that is crucial to our existence as a school.
Very crucial.
So that one just has a millage rate of what it would cost for non-homestead. And again, that's not for homestead taxpayers, just for non-homestead. So.
And when will the election be? Is it the August election?
It is the August election.
So not a lot of time. If you're not registered to vote, hurry up, get registered to vote. You got to vote in this election. Very imperative for Alcona schools.
Absolutely, and I know a lot of absentee ballots are out early this year,
yes.
And so we're just trying to make sure we get the information out as early as possible, especially with COVID-19 making face-to-face interactions and communication and information about it so difficult.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm a rookie, so glad to be here and glad to share what I have.
Thank you so much. Please stay tuned. I'll be right back with Justin Christensen Cooper following these messages. Hi, welcome back. I'm with Justin Christensen Cooper from Art in the Loft. Hi, Justin.
Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm good. And as we're taping this today, you are going to be opening tomorrow.
I know, isn't that incredible? So we open officially Thursday, June 25th for our Summer View Artist Exhibit. Typically, we'd be opening up before Memorial Day is usually what we shoot for, but being closed, our doors being closed for about 3 months now, we're excited to get people back in the gallery and enjoy what we have to offer in the field of arts.
So what's Summer View going to look like?
So Summer View, it's a little different. It's obviously we have our artists in the gallery with their tremendous amount of talent that they bring and exhibit their work and have it for sale. A little bit lower on our artists this year as we kind of, this season, as we kind of anticipated it would be. Just because of all the factors that play into being able to create art, getting art up there. But I think
getting supplies
to do it. I mean, all of that plays a factor into everything. And so to kind of combat that, what we are hoping to do, because we can't do the typical artist receptions where we have 200 people up in the gallery or whatever it might be, we are going to have an online gallery. And so that is at artintheloft.org, and if there'll be a big button right there that takes everybody that's exhibiting has their own personalized page where we actually are selling artwork through the website as well. So people can kind of get a little glimpse of what they would expect coming to the gallery. Maybe people aren't comfortable coming to the gallery, or they just want to do it from the comfort of their couch, which is fine too. They can still make those purchases online.
If there's anything good that came out of COVID, the innovations and the way that people and families and businesses and agencies have made themselves better to be able to reach people and to be able to be efficient, that's the one good thing that's coming out of this.
I would
It's
agree,
amazing.
right, and we're backed by so many creative thinkers at Art in the Loft between
Oh,
our
yes.
staff and board of directors and volunteers and all that. We really has forced us outside of that normal box of, well, it's this time of the year, so we're going to do it this way, and where that is just not the norm anymore.
Right.
And so we really have to get, creative with how we put out our content and reaching all those in our community through the arts.
Now, some of you, are we going to have different mediums?
Yes, we sure are. So I still, even though we're a little bit lower in artists, we still have that whole spectrum of art. So from painting, photography, ceramics, jewelry, woodworking, glasswork, photography, we have that whole gamut again, which is really nice.
Okay, now what about all your wonderful summer programming that you always did?
Yep.
What's happening with
Great
that?
question, because I'm getting messages every day about
bet
it, which
you
is, people are want to get their kiddos out of the house and get to do something, but we do have to be careful with that too and
Yes.
follow, very strict guidelines. Since we are part of a bigger entity of the center building, we have to follow some rules that the center building follows as well, where we are requiring everybody that enters the building or enters the loft to wear a mask until they are seated either for a cooking class or seated for an art class, and we do have to space everybody out. Nice thing is we can put tables in between everybody. So we're limiting our in-gallery classes, kids and adults, to 10 members for every
Okay.
class. So we can still do those interactive in-gallery experiences. But to help offset that, we are doing a full spectrum of summer programming that can be done virtually. So you can sign up online, you can swing through the loft, or we can have it delivered to you, where you pick up your art kit, whether it be for a cooking class or for an art class, and then they'll follow along through a live Zoom class, virtual class, so you can actually watch face-to-face and ask questions while you're doing it, and those are all going to be recorded, so you can do that art project or cooking project at your own leisure, which would be really
that's pretty
nice.
wonderful because, your classes fill up so fast. A lot of
Correct.
times you don't get in them.
Correct.
So this is wonderful.
Which is great because there's no limit to how many
Yes.
we can accept into a virtual class. And so,
Perfect.
again, we'll have Kids in the Kitchen, which are a really popular kids class, our Kids Canvas and Cuisine, where they cook and do some artwork. We'll have Corkers in Canvas, which is great for our adults to partake in painting. And so we're just going to do, try to offer as many things as we can.
Wow. Now, what about fundraising? Because that's a vital part of what you do. Is there going to be any fundraising efforts during all of this?
Yeah, that's, there has to be. As being a nonprofit
Yes.
in a small community, we rely so heavily on our membership, our corporate sponsors, our grantors, and then those that, where we can put on a really neat event and hope to garner some funds to help continue our mission and pay for all the things that we need to pay for. So that changes. Our major function, which is typically in the fall, used to be called Glamour and Gourmet, and then it changed. Last year we had 6 local chefs up there serving food, and we did live auctions and silent auctions, and we had over 150 people up in the gallery. That's just not something we know we can do this year.
Right.
So we have some pretty innovative ways around that. We can't wait to unveil that. But yes, fundraising for sure has to be an integral part to that. And we're asking our community, they're asking us, what can we do to help you?
Good.
First of all, would be to visit the gallery now that we're open, help fund those artists, and purchase some local artwork, take classes, do the virtual art kits if you can, but also become a member of the gallery. Get your name on the wall up in the gallery and really help support our mission in bringing arts closer and actually into your home now, which I think is an even more, we kind of get to go outside of our walls of the gallery, which we've been trying to do over the last 3 months through the pandemic.
Right.
But it really opened up a box of things that we can do, even slowly getting back into reopening phases, that we realized, oh man, we know we can do these things even after we reopen.
So what will your hours be now?
Yep, so our hours are a little bit different than usual. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then we're leaving some evening times for some possible small group activities where we can get groups of 10 or less up there to do some personalized art experiences. And then Sundays we're leaving for those personalized art experiences too.
And you always generate a lot of money from rental, but you cannot do that any longer.
Yeah, it's a great point. Right now we're, just the inside limitations, we just can't do a whole lot. So, we may have half a dozen to 10 weddings or private functions up there, or private corporate
At
events,
least,
which are just
yeah.
being canceled, back to back to back. So there's still a few late summer that I know some of those brides are holding on for that they can have. But we just have to play it by the ear of what the state says we can do. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a phone number for people to call?
Yep, 989-356-4877, or visit the website, especially that online gallery, artintheloft.org.
And if there's an artist in town that's interested in contacting you to get some
Yeah.
of their work displayed same way?
Same way, and they can email me directly, which is director@artintheloft.org, or stop by the gallery, talk to our amazing staff up there, and they can help you out.
What about volunteers?
Always looking for them. Especially, we are doing a summer program with Boys and Girls Club again.
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit different limitations with that, where we bring them up for 2 hours of art and cooking lessons, and we're going to do that once a week for about 8 weeks.
Okay.
Which is totally free to them, and we want to make sure that that's part of them being back as members of the club and things
Okay.
like that too. But we're always looking for volunteers to do things like that, or to help with some of our in-gallery offerings and all that good stuff.
Okay, well, I want to thank you so much
Thank you.
for being here, and for your staff for hanging in there and bringing it back and making it the wonderful, viable entity in our community that it is.
I just appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, and just hang in there, and I know things are going to get better.
I hope so.
All right, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Nancy.
Please stay tuned for Dr. Don McMaster following these messages.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College. I'm pleased to have as our guest this morning Mary Egan, director of alumni relations at ACC. Welcome, Mary.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here.
Mary, we're glad to have you on board. And tell us what the director of alumni relations does.
Oh my goodness. Well, ACC has a network of tens of thousands of alumni. These are people all the way back from our founding in 1952 to the folks that just graduated a few weeks ago. And until my position came to fruition, we didn't have a link between those graduates and the school. And that really is a missed opportunity, not just for our graduates to be able to stay in touch with what's going on at Alpena Community College, but also our current students who perhaps don't realize the incredible network of graduates that we have all over the world. And so I want to be the person who links those two and develops those relationships so that our current students can see what's possible and that our graduates are really proud of where they came from and have the opportunity to give back.
Wow, what a succinct and comprehensive response. That is exactly on point. Everything you say is true. There are thousands and thousands of people that we don't reach regularly or at all,
Right.
who I think probably are fans of the college.
Absolutely.
And tell us, some of the things you've done that I'm really impressed by is, you've created kind of an e-newsletter and capturing events of the college. Of course, the pandemic was a huge event.
Right.
But your newsletters are very well written.
Thank you. Thank you.
And tell me your thoughts on how that's going.
Well, I think that the big missing piece in alumni relations that we've had at ACC is communication. And so I bring a communications background to the position, and I have really tried to humanize the college, and so that it's less an institution and more about a group of people working together to educate and to enhance the life of not only the students, but excuse me, but also the college at large and the community, I think is really important. So the perspective I've tried to take with the newsletters that I've been doing, which is called the campus crosscut, the lumber theme, has been to tell those stories and try to take what's happening at the college and distill it down to a really personal level that people can connect with. And so we've had 3 issues thus far, and we've covered a variety of topics. We've talked about alumni, we've talked about the ACC Foundation, which is a group that I think needs to be trumpeted more, because the ACC Foundation makes it possible for a huge number of our students to get an education, to make it affordable. So we talked about that, and students that we have right now and the incredible things they've done. The first issue that I'm really, really proud of is that I got to talk about Katie Fleming.
Yes, that was very powerful.
Right, she is an alumna of our nursing program, and she works down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And at the time that I covered that story, it was really the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And Louisiana had been hit just like Michigan very, very hard. And she works in a level 1 trauma center, and she had worked in the ICU, and that ICU usually was used for head injuries, but it was sort of taken over by COVID patients. And she talked about how it was different than any other experience that she has had with nursing. And it was heartbreaking to hear about how just gowning up and having to put on masks and how that creates a barrier between her and her patients, but also if something happens, and it did, people were on respirators, they stopped breathing, they went into cardiac arrest, to have to gown up again and go back in, and the time that wastes, and not being able to have their loved ones there. And so she was that conduit between the patient who is dying and their family members, and she's there with her iPhone and really providing a service that you think of almost with hospice or in a war situation where people are far from home, and they're not far from home, but they're just as cut off. And to learn about that story and be able to tell it to our students and our faculty and our alumni and the community at large was such an honor. And it made me so proud of the types of people that we graduate at Alpena Community College. We have a huge impact on the medical field here in Alpena and then statewide, and as you see with Katie, countrywide. She's also done relief work in Africa.
Right.
So you think of that impact and how she talked about how she went from a student that had 2 associate degrees, didn't know what she wanted to do, talked to counselors here, decided that nursing was for her, and look at the impact that now she's having on the world. And that's what Alpena Community College does for our students. And that is such an honor to be able to tell the public about.
Well, that was a remarkable story,
Yeah.
Katie's story, and your writing of it. The two combined made just a powerhouse story, and very important. And like you, as you say, it reflects on Katie for sure.
Yeah.
But in the nursing program, in the college, in the community,
Right.
all those things that come to bear on our students. And in my mind, the opportunity to share the stories of people that connect with the college is something I'm extremely excited about, and that's what you're doing and doing well.
Yeah, and the thing that I've learned since coming to ACC is the huge number of our students that need financial aid. It is a astronomical number. I'm not sure if you know it off the top of your head, I can't remember, but it may be close to 90%. It is a huge number. And so I'm really proud of working in conjunction with the ACC Foundation. And right now, we are gearing up for the 25th annual Robert M. Granum Scramble for Scholarships. This is my first golf outing, and it raises money for scholarships. We have raised over $400,000 in these 25 years. 24, we're going on the 25th.
Yep.
And so we have decided that we want to make giving affordable. We know that right now, economic times are tough for people. So we decided that for the 25th anniversary, we would encourage alumni and supporters of the college to pledge $25 to our general scholarship fund. And you'll get your name on a banner at the event. We are excited about it. There are other sponsorship opportunities as well. And of course, we're looking for golfers. So if you're interested in that, River's Edge Golf Course or Club is the place to go. Also the ACC Foundation. And you can check out that information as well on our website, which is discoveralpenacc.edu. And we would love for folks to pledge that $25 and have their name appear on that banner showing that they support the college and they support the students who are going to need financial aid this coming fall semester more than ever before.
Wonderful. Mary, thank you for what you're doing for ACC. And thank you folks for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your host, Nancy Smitham and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at wbkb11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production.